So today's interview is with the lovely Leticia. So this is our third Superwoman series that we're doing at Antal International. So before we begin, I thought it would be good to get an introduction from you, Leticia. So if you don't mind introducing yourself on this video, please.
Yes, I am Leticia Herram. I run the Spanish business and I'm in the company since May 2000. So I am on my 21st year now. I'm the managing director of Spain, Madrid, Barcelona, and Bilbao offices.
Brilliant. Thank you. So you can probably understand why we have Leticia on the call today, as obviously she runs a few of our offices. So Leticia, I'm going to ask you a few questions if you're happy to answer those for me. So the first question here is, what does International Women's Day mean to you?
Well, I think International Women's Day is a recognition, I think, of the labor that most of the women do every day, like in a quiet way. The thousands of things that you can do at the end of the day, and in some cases is not enough recognized, and many cases for everybody else and not for themselves. So I think it's a deserved recognition to all women, to all mothers, and and the working woman more than anybody else.
Sure. No, I totally agree. Thanks very much for answering the first question on that one. So this leads quite nicely then into the second question, which is, research shows us that just 1 out of 3 managers in the EU is a woman. In 2019 in Spain, they recorded only 37.7% of women in management. Why do you think it is the case where the higher up the corporate ladder, the fewer the women?
Well, that's a very interesting question, Polly, because it's something that we ask ourselves many times from the personal side and the professional side, that we have the opportunity of speaking with many women at the end of the day. I think in many cases it's a lack of trust that the woman is going to be able to give enough to the company or to the job they are going to do because of the duties that they may have at home, or kids, or maybe the intention of having a family when it's a young person. And I got a conclusion that is a question of trust on the people. I can tell you a very small detail. In the team I have in Spain, more than 80% are women, and I think that most of them, with the exception of 1 or 2, have kids. In some of the occasions, these women have difficulties finding a job after having their kids because no company gave them the opportunity. And I found myself in experience, I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about the women I met, and friends, and obviously the people I work, that they are very efficient for the short time that they have in many cases. So they just simply don't have a minute. I mean, they don't have time to spend chatting about things that are not important. So they need to be as efficient as possible because of the short time that they have. At the end, for me, are many times more efficient.
Sure. Okay, well, that's a really interesting answer to that. And I think you're right, there is obviously women obviously have children, and that sometimes obviously does put a hold on their career. And I did an interview with Ashley on Friday it was, and she was talking about juggling being a professional woman and obviously being a mother as well. But we can do it. We are superwomen.
Yes.
So it can happen. So thank you very much for answering question 2 for me. So looking at the final question then, and it's all about you now, is obviously you yourself have broken the above boundaries as a managing director at Antal International. How did you make it up the corporate ladder, firstly? And what advice would you give to women out there trying to break those boundaries and trying to strive for those more senior positions? How did you do it going up the corporate ladder?
Well, I personally didn't have that objective or that task to be as high as possible. I simply tried to do my job as the best I could, thinking that it was my own business and just doing whatever I would do if it was mine, which means that you always put the best of yourself for the company or for the job you're doing. And in this case, we service clients, candidates, and trying to do it the best you can. And then things happen. I think from the personal perspective, not only in our business, in recruitment, or in the year that we have been through, so difficult for everybody, we need to have a positive attitude and we need to have problem-solving attitude. So I like people that come to me with solutions, not with problems, because problems we have thousands every day. So that can be adapted to what we are talking about, that you need to have like an attitude of finding the solution instead of trying to, because this is what will take you to having success, or at least to sort the best way possible the situation where you are. And that applies obviously from the personal perspective as well. I have kids as well, and I have to thank the trust that I have been given since I had my first children. The advice I would give is to try to organize the best you can, as Ashley was mentioning, because being a mother, working outside of the home, having or not having a partner or help makes you be more organized, and also you can deliver with your children the task, the to-do. So it's like a teamwork. It's not just one person that needs to do everything. And at the end of the day, there are things that are urgent that needs to be done and things that need to be done but are not urgent. So this way you try to avoid so much stress that sometimes you take from work home or from home to work. So at the end we are persons, so we cannot just cut one part of our lives, but we need to be able to handle everything, being as positive as possible and as efficient as possible at the same time.
Okay, brilliant, perfect. So brilliant answer again to that one. I think positive mental attitude is great. And also, what you just said, being organized, you had to learn that being a mother, and you've taken that into your career as well. So it's an attribute that you would have learned from that. I know definitely from my sister, she's a vet, and she actually said when she had children, she said going to work actually was a bit of a break from motherhood for her. That's why she carried on her job, because it was a bit of a break. So I can kind of understand that. So thank you very much, Leticia. It was a really good interview, and I can't wait to post this live tomorrow.
Thank you, my dear. Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's okay. Superwoman's over and out. Thanks.